MDOT presents the Extra Mile Podcast.
Welcome into another edition of the Extra Mile Podcast presented by the Mississippi Department of Transportation. I'm Paul Catul, and as always, I'm joined by my co-host, Will Kraft. And to all the loyal listeners, viewers out there, if you remember, we had State Senator John Horhn on in February. Well, flash forward a few months, and we have Jackson Mayor John Horhn in the building with us today. Congratulations. I know it's been a few months, but
thank you, Paul.
Very excited to have you in here and very excited that you are my mayor. So listen, this is a great time to have you in because it's Monday, October 20th, and on the 21st, tomorrow, you have the State of the City going on.
Yeah, that's right.
So we don't want to steal any thunder from that, but how are things going the first few months in office?
Well, it's like drinking water from two fire hoses, Paul. It's nonstop and a lot of meetings, a lot of planning, team building, trying to address the citizenry in all aspects and parts of Jackson. So it keeps us going pretty good.
That's a good deal. So I've listened to some podcasts that you did kind of early on, like right when you were elected, and I know there were some priorities laid out. Are those still kind of the same priorities? What are the main things you're looking at right now?
Well, we have a lot of priorities. I say that Jackson is in need of a major workover, and I describe it as being akin to the Marshall Plan that was employed right after World War II was over to rebuild Western Europe. We need to rebuild Jackson in much the same way, and in much the same way we've been through some wars, not to the extent of World War II, of course, but we've had a lot of challenges, out-migration, a lot of property becoming deteriorated and dilapidated, a lot of tax forfeited property. We've got some infrastructure issues. We've got issues with public safety that we're trying to get addressed. There's some affordable housing needs that are not being addressed just yet. Homelessness is a real problem here, and workforce training poses some challenges. So just about, if you get blindfolded and one of those little donkey tails put in your hand and spun around, wherever you stick that tail, there's a problem. And so we're, like I say, drinking water from two fire hoses. But I feel very gratified that the three top priorities that we have named are still our three top priorities, which are public safety, infrastructure, and blight elimination. And so we're remaining focused on that and trying to put together a comprehensive plan going forward. And while we're waiting for that comprehensive plan, we're doing a market value analysis that's going to be the basis of that plan. But we're doing a comprehensive plan light just to be able to put some documents in the hands of folks that have an interest in helping Jackson, whether they're corporations or foundations. And we are getting a lot of interest from corporations and foundations to come in and do a deeper dive on Jackson.
That's great. Excellent. Absolutely. And look, to the points you just made, the blight elimination and working on that, infrastructure, public safety. I mean, I think we've got the man for the job because in such a short time, I know it probably doesn't feel like a short time since you've been in office already, I see improvements. I see them every day coming in. I mean, State Street is moving along, and that's been something I know that's been an interest of yours for a very long time.
Yeah.
And it's making headway.
We were one of the original authors of the creating a payment in lieu of taxes from the state to the city. And that comes in the form of the Capital Complex Improvement District.
Sure.
That CCID was first created to provide some complementary financial assistance to Jackson by a 6% diversion of sales tax that normally would go to the state general fund that now goes into the CCID fund to help fund improvements, mostly around public infrastructure in Jackson.
And I mean, by all accounts, excuse me for stammering there, but it looks like it's working. I mean, it's being utilized. I know that's a major. I don't know if people understand the scope of that project. That is
Well,
a huge project.
the State Street project is a huge project. It's establishing some major water and sewer lines and that form the arteries of downtown Jackson, and it goes from Capitol Street all the way up to Fortification, and it's I think it's around a $50 million project, at least $50 million. But CCID has $100 million in projects that it is planning for the city of Jackson. And we were able a couple of months ago to get them to the advisory board to commit $2 million for the city to replace its existing early alert warning system for fire protection. And that's a citywide system, and that's the first time resources are being applied from CCID throughout the entire city. Normally, it's within the footprint of CCID, which is about a third of the city, but this early alert warning system is going to benefit the entire city.
And look, I'm mentioning State Street, and you're talking about the CCID there, and we know there's more to Jackson, right? And my daily commute, I see lots of right here, right around the Capitol area. That's where I go. But I would assume that lots of these improvements are taking place elsewhere as well.
Yeah, well, so we have, just by example, in addition to the CCID support, about $125 million that has been identified through the 1 cent sales tax, through Federal Highway Administration monies that we have to match, and also you mentioned a bright spot on the day that we got all 9 of our appointments that we put before the City Council confirmed. In the middle of that meeting, I got word that we had closed on a $40 million bond issue for infrastructure using our internet sales tax as a backstop to that bond. And that's also going to help us to do more infrastructure improvements, including storm drainage and ditch cleanouts, which are badly needed.
And not I've heard people say, not maybe the sexiest topic, if you will, but very necessary and critically important.
So we're doing a lot of street resurfacing with the 1 cent sales tax. We're doing some major artery repair in Woodrow Wilson, Medgar Evers Boulevard, McDowell Road, and McDowell Road Extension. To help make it easier to move traffic along in the capital city, and to do it where you don't encounter as many potholes.
Sure.
That's excellent stuff. We love some good infrastructure improvement.
Absolutely.
So Brad White always says government in general is a team sport. I forgot who he borrowed that from, but I know you have a new administration coming in, so that means new people. So from a personnel standpoint, how are you doing in kind of bringing in your own people, and do we have any needs in the city like that you could tell right now? Like, do we need a new engineer or a new public works, or really?
Yeah. Well, we were able to get the vast majority of our appointments named and filled and confirmed, and probably the top of that list was our CAO. Who's a Chief Administrative Officer, Peter Taverson. And Peter comes with a broad range of experience. He's worked as a city attorney. He's worked as a county attorney. He's served as a county judge. And he's a very successful attorney who brings a lot of experience about government and how it works to the table. We have our HR director, Toya Martin, who is she was with the prior administration, but we've seen the merit of keeping her around. And likewise, our city attorney, Drew Martin, was with the prior administration, but Drew brings a lot of institutional memory and knowledge about the city's legal aspects that we found to be very valuable. We also retained Angela Harris, the city clerk, who runs the business of City Hall, as well as doing immigration processing for folks that want to get passports and whatnot. We have our Human and Cultural Services Director, who's Pam Jr. Pam came from the two museums. Well, she had retired actually, but she prior to her retirement managed the Museum of Mississippi History and the Civil Rights Museum, the only civil rights museum, I might add, that is state supported in the country. So Pam, as head of Human and Cultural Services, including Thalia Mar Hall, which is going to be reopened by the end of the year. We'll have it ready to go. So snap. You know, the prior administration, for whatever reasons, right before they left office, did a press conference saying Thalia Mar was back. And when we got sworn in, we realized very quickly Thalia Mar was not back. And so we've had to put in some additional resources to make sure we get Thalia Mar back. We have repaired actually replaced the elevator and have repaired the escalators. There's some fixing up that needed to happen in the bathroom, some plumbing issues that had to be addressed. We had a small asbestos challenge on the stage that is right in the process of being addressed before we can hang the fire curtain, which is on premises, ready to be installed. We're going to do a deep cleanse of the facility, including power washing the exterior of the building. The fountain is once again working. So we're expecting Thalia Mar to come back with a lot of bookings. We've got at least 11 bookings that are happening in the first of 2026. I think our first event is actually going to be in late January, if I remember correctly. So we have some long-term plans that we're looking at for Thalia Mar, and maybe even reimagining that entire cultural block that Thalia Mar shares with the Mississippi Museum of Art, the Art Center, and as well as the planetarium, to see how we can stand up a much bigger, more impactful set of facilities there. So we're going to be looking down the road at possibly pursuing that. But anyway, the chore of running a city is that there's always something that you have to address. I don't care how successful you are or how effective you put a team together. There's always something that pops up. And as I was saying about the team, Willie Bozeman is serving as my chief of staff. We have just a really great, talented set of leaders in their own right who are working to make sure that our city is running well. We still have a need for a Parks and Recreation director. We have a need for a planning and development director, and I thought we had solved both of those. Well, the Parks and Rec, we're close to naming someone for that. On planning and development, we had a bit of a setback because the person that we wanted to come and lead our planning and development department is not available for that position right now. And so we're going back to the drawing boards on that. So if anybody's out there who's got some great planning and development experience, we'd love to talk to you. We're looking for someone who can help us reimagine our building and permitting, zoning, our code enforcement, things along those lines that will help strengthen the notion that Jackson is open for business. We want to streamline that process for folks, probably put some more technology in place to help speed through the process of getting a permit pulled or getting a site plan review done in a timely fashion, which we've heard many complaints from businesses that our process currently is way too slow. And then finally, we're looking for a police chief. We want to thank publicly once again Chief Joe Wade, the former chief, who retired a couple of months ago. We thought he was going to be with us for the long haul, but his family said otherwise. And Joe is getting some well-deserved rest from all the stress of being the police chief in Jackson, Mississippi. But we are doing a national search, not shutting the door on looking inward with the police department itself, but also not shutting the door on casting a wider net around the country to see if there's someone out, in other parts of the country that might have an interest and the ability to come and lead our police force. So that's probably our biggest effort right now when it comes to personnel. So again, if someone is wants to be a candidate for police chief, they can reach out to us, and we'd love to have a conversation.
Sending out the bat signal.
Yes, absolutely. And look, I want to add on this. I understand, that is certainly a major focus. You want to get that in and get that person hired and rocking and rolling. I took a trip to Chicago earlier this year, and man, I had so many family members. Be careful, watch out. Up there, be safe. And I feel like that sort of gets spun in the same way towards Jackson.
Right.
I've been coming downtown for 20 years now. I have never once, for even a millisecond, been afraid for my life. My vehicle's never been broken into. I have hardly seen anything that you would describe as crime in Jackson. It's not as bad as what people out there can say.
Well, especially as it relates to downtown Jackson.
Sure.
Oh, don't go to downtown now, whatever you do.
Right.
And I say, what are you talking about? There's nobody down here.
That's right. Not to be worried about. Right. Absolutely.
There are some unhoused individuals who might show up on the streets of downtown every now and then, but at night, during the daytime, Jackson is certainly perfectly safe, and at night it's perfectly safe. But we do get a bad rap. I think that what's fueling some of that is the fact that Jackson, like a lot of cities, does have a gang problem. We, in talking with the special agent in charge of the FBI, there are 20 what I call hierarchical gangs in Mississippi throughout the state. Some of them have a presence in Jackson. There are more than 200 neighborhood gangs in the state of Mississippi. We've identified about 34 of them to be in Jackson, and they're the ones who pose the major challenge because the hierarchical gangs they're tied to some national affiliation of a gang. They're really there about making money, and they like to keep a low profile. They don't have a whole lot of interest in visibility or notoriety. Whatever area of making money they're in, that's what they try to do that, and like I say, keep a low profile. The neighborhood gangs have a lot less discipline. They are members who participate in organizations like that go from 0 to 100 at the drop of a hat. They're not just about making money. It's about my reputation, street creds, how I'm perceived, and any sort of threat to that or an attack on that. Someone mentions you on Facebook in an unflattering light. Someone says something to you about you at a party that gets back to you, and then your response is, next time I see that guy, I'm going to take him out. And that's the challenge we have in Jackson is we don't have a lot of knowledge about people who have guns who can conflict resolve without pulling out that gun. Their first inclination is to pull out the gun. And so some of the issues of homicides or shootings that we have in our city are owing to those neighborhood gang members who have beefs with one another, or it's individuals who have access to guns who again develop a conflict, and the first way that they think that they can resolve that conflict is with a gun. So we've got to dial this thing back a whole lot and make it where there are other alternatives that you can utilize if you have an argument or a conflict with someone. That's what I think is fueling a lot of the homicides that we do have. I will say that we're somewhere up around 49, 50 homicides in the city this year. But this time last year, we were at 87, 88. So we are seeing a downward trend, and we're hoping that downward trend continues. But one homicide is too many. One homicide too many. So our goal is to get people to defuse situations before someone's life is taken or is put in threat. And that's I think something we've got to do with better manpower, but cops can't be everywhere.
Sure.
Better equipment so that when you do have to show up, you're well equipped for whatever the situation is, and better technology, because sometimes the technology can be where you can't be. And so our goal is to make Jackson one of the safest places in the country. And we know that we've got to have better manpower, better equipment, and better technology in order to do that.
That's amazing. Love it.
And thoughts and prayer, hey, we're fully supportive and behind you. We're the MDOT family over here. Not a whole lot that we might be able to do to help or contribute to that, but don't hesitate to call on us.
Well, I'll tell you, you guys will have provided us with $46 million through the Federal Highway Administration for projects for major thoroughfares like Woodrow Wilson, like the Medgar Evers Boulevard, what is down south, McDowell Road and McDowell Road Extension. Those are major thoroughfares that move traffic through our city. And we want to be able to do that on better streets than what we have now. The grants also are helping us with better lighting, with traffic signals and that sort of thing. We've got to find a $29 million match to be able to draw that money down. But I'm confident that we'll be able to do that.
That's amazing.
Exciting times, yeah.
Good times. So listen, maybe coincidentally, around the time, it kind of became apparent that you were going to become mayor, there was a lot of good talk going on. So the governor, I felt like, kind of started talking up, working with the city of Jackson, both chambers, and the House and the Senate. I know we're working on some things for Jackson, but it seems like there's some really solid teamwork going on between everyone here. Can you kind of talk about that, and have there been any good talks coming out of that?
Yeah, well, number one, I will say that there is a sense in the air of optimism, of enthusiasm for Jackson that we haven't seen in a while.
Right.
We've tried to take advantage of that by hitting the ground running and trying to get some things done that are visible, that people can see our improvements. We want to give the average citizen the sense that their basic services are going to be met by city government, and that when you call city government is going to respond, and respond in a customer-friendly, business service-friendly, with that kind of an attitude. And so that's the first thing. We've also worked hard to improve the relationship between the mayor and the city council, and so far so good. We're really working well. We're keeping our eyes focused on providing services to our city, as opposed to getting into personality issues or whatever gums up the process that it has so in the past. Then we've been mending our relationship with the county. In fact, the city and county signed a memorandum of understanding several weeks ago, vowing to work together on projects of mutual benefit to our constituents. The first effort that we have decided to focus on is pothole repair. The city has the financial resources to buy the raw materials. The county doesn't, but the county has the manpower. And so we're using the manpower of the county to address pothole repair by the city providing those raw materials. We expect that we're going to be working on some economic development projects, and in fact, a multi-jurisdictional project that we're anticipating is County Line Road, the stretch between US 51 State Street and US 49. That is going to become a major artery, and you have assets like Tougaloo College, the FBI state headquarters, Employment Security. Entergy has a number of operations there. We have that as an access to the Lake Lorman, Lake Cavalier area. So there's all kinds of commerce there. But of late, Amazon, AWS, is building right on County Line Road at the old Costas Lake site. And so the economic benefit that comes from that is just, I think, going to make that area explode. So Madison County, Hinds County, the city of Ridgeland, the city of Jackson, AWS itself are in discussions about putting a 5-lane road improvement between that stretch of US 51 and US 49 to help grow the commerce, the commercial corridor that we have there, and to make for better transportation arteries in and around that AWS data center. So we're real pleased with that, and that's going to be, as I say, a multi-county, multi-city, jurisdictional project that we'll all work together on. But the county has been a really good partner so far in our administration. Likewise, with the state, as I mentioned, CCID is giving us a $2 million grant for an early alert warning system for fire protection throughout the entire city. The day after I won my election, the governor called me and said, "Hey, I've been watching your race. You're doing a good job, running a good race. I want to help Jackson. Let's sit down and talk." And we've had one conversation, and and actually the Gateway cleanup that we had this past Saturday was really inspired by my conversation with the governor, saying we understand that Jackson is our front door, and we want the literal front doors to downtown to look better, to look more prosperous, to look more pleasant. And that's really what started the conversation about cleaning up our gateways. We've had conversations with the lieutenant governor. He's just formed a committee to look at how the state Senate can assist with the city of Jackson's interests and desires. Likewise, the House has had a committee for the second year, and we've spoken to that. We'll be in front of the committee later this week to talk about our wastewater system and ways the state might be able to assist us with that. And we've met with all the appropriations chairman and finance and ways and means chairman in the House and Senate, along with the Speaker and the Speaker pro tem, as well as the President pro tem. So, yeah, we're getting some really, really good feedback from members of the legislature about how they can help with city government, and, of course, with the executive branch at the state level. Mentioning MOUs, the city has signed a memorandum of understanding with Mississippi Development Authority, MDA, about working on projects of an economic development nature. And MDA's Executive Director, Bill Cork, is making available for half of his time a project manager who works with MDA, but who will work exclusively with the city of Jackson for 50% of his time. And so that's a really good effort at cooperation and collaboration. And we're having, as I say, some great collaborations with CCID in terms of infrastructure and beautification. So and CCID is a part of the Gateway project as well. And then we've gone to the federal government to meet with our federal delegation, and to a person, Congressman Thompson, Congressman Guest, Senator Wicker, Senator Hines Smith, all have said, we want to help Jackson, Mississippi. Tell us what you need.
I love that.
Amazing.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's about time, and hey, I'm so glad it's happening, and you're the guy getting this going for sure.
Absolutely, I second that. One of the things you mentioned, housing. That was kind of something we'd heard even from the Capitol specifically mentioned. What is that looking like?
Well, we have an aging housing stock in Jackson, and affordable housing is a challenge all over the country,
Sure.
all over Mississippi, and especially all over Jackson. People use an inordinate amount of their income to cover keeping a roof over their heads. Housing is expensive. Sometimes it's expensive and substandard. We need a better housing product in Jackson. And speaking of that, I just met with the Mississippi Home Corporation, Executive Director Scott Spivey, and we have agreed that we're going to work on some initiatives to help with housing development that's affordable but well-built, well-constructed in the city of Jackson for workforce housing as well as families that need better housing. And there's a huge situation where about 55% of our residents are not homeowners, they're renters. And so we want to increase home ownership in places like Jackson. And so this effort that we're going to start with Home Corp will hopefully develop single-family housing for home ownership in the city of Jackson. We think that we've got an opportunity to attract families from other parts of the country that need good, affordable housing, and that's a niche that we might be able to fill in Jackson because we've got a lot of space here. And we do have the existing infrastructure that's being improved, both water, sewer, as well as our roads and bridges. And so we're wanting to position Jackson as a place where home ownership can become a reality for more people. And then the unhoused situation is another problem. And Home Corp and I are having discussions about ways that we can use the emergency shelter grant to help provide a more permanent solution and long-lasting solution to homelessness in the capital city.
That's good stuff.
Absolutely. I mean, you continue with the home runs. I feel like everything you've told and illustrated this morning, I'm excited about. Again, to echo Paul's sentiments. I mean, things again. The momentum seems like it's there. You're spot on too. The housing issue, it's everywhere. It's not just a Jackson problem.
Right.
But I love you guys have a plan to address it. That's awesome.
Definitely. Listen, I know you're a busy man and you don't have too much more time with us here today, but I did want to kind of ask a little more about development. Like I mentioned, I live in the heart of Belhaven Town Center area, and then Fondren. If you haven't been out to Fondren, it's just kind of an amazing thing that's going on there. What's kind of the plan to kind of keep that momentum going and kind of attract more of that private development?
Yeah, well, we've got a number of corporations that are saying that they want to make investments in Jackson. Organizations like J.P. Morgan Chase, Capital One. In fact, that $40 million bond issue that I mentioned, Capital One was the entity that bought the bonds for that bond issue for infrastructure. We also are getting some really good feedback from organizations like Wells Fargo, Enterprise Community Partners. And so a lot of foundations and corporations have Jackson in their sights, and we check a lot of boxes for a lot of corporations. Jackson, Mississippi does, and so organizations like Kellogg Foundation, Kresge Foundation are wanting to help us by doing deeper dives in ways that they can participate in this Marshall Plan. And a lot of it has to center around development and how we attract business to the community. But the first thing that we know we've got to do is we got to clean this place up. We've got to make it safer. We have to ensure that basic services are being met: water, sewer, roads, and bridges, and that we are presenting the city in a way that is attractive. So we've got to deal with this blight, especially down in South Jackson. We've got to create a better palette on which we paint this picture, and so that's our top priority, and then we'll get to the actual development. And there's some immediate opportunities for us are in manufacturing and distribution, just because of our location. We've got one prospect that MDA actually shared with us, who is looking at coming into Hawkins Field for a print and labeling operation. Hopefully, we'll be able to land that prospect. But we know that just we've got some availability of industrial buildings that are vacant. We've got an opportunity for more manufacturing and distribution, given our location and those assets. But we also know that workforce training has got to become a major selling point for us. There are over 100,000 jobs that are going vacant and unfilled in Mississippi right now, high skill level jobs that folks can't find workers for because they're not trained. So we've got to improve our workforce training efforts, and then specifically target things like plumbing, electrical, data technicians, cable splicers. Those are jobs that are in high demand. Welders are in high demand, and yet we don't have the people who can go into those jobs. And we've got to figure out how do we help folks that need the training survive while they're being trained through things like stipends and other support mechanisms, transportation that will help them be successful during their training and hopefully their later placement opportunities. But those high-skilled jobs are in demand, and then there's AI. There's all this technical demand that is just growing like by leaps and bounds. So we're working with people like Dr. Nashley Cephas, who has created the Bean Path, which is a tech hub she's trying to develop in downtown Jackson. And the city just last week had conversations with her about partnering to help folks deal with getting training for tech jobs that are going to be the wave of the future. So basic skill positions. You know, I tell my wife all the time I'm coming back in my next life as a plumber or an electrician.
So true.
Because you can make a lot of money.
Make
a lot of money, and there's just a real demand for that, and we're not meeting that demand enough. So the basic skills are things working with your hands, say, are going to be in high demand, but also working with your brain as it relates to the AI market. And I think Jackson has got to play in both those sandboxes.
Absolutely.
Couldn't agree more.
For sure.
And again, just once again, more exciting stuff coming down the pipe. That specifically, the last part of that, I had no idea. The Bean Path, I've been looking at. That's incredible. I mean,
Yeah, she's actually on Gallatin Street.
okay.
Right on the fringes of downtown Jackson, between there and Jackson State. And she's got some activities she's been doing with Jackson State, but we need to just accelerate all of that and enhance it.
Because it is coming, like you said.
It's
here.
coming.
The future's here. Well, listen, unless Will has anything, my last thing, I definitely want to end on a positive from my end. So a big happening coming to the city of Jackson very soon, the Folk Fest, National Folk Festival. Can you kind of give us some information on that?
Yeah, well, it's taking place on November 7th, 8th, and 9th in downtown Jackson. Jackson, and I'll give the previous administration a shout out. They actually competed with 50 other cities for hosting the National Folk Festival,
wow.
and Jackson was selected. We've got a rich legacy of history, of music, of culture in general, of cuisine, of visual arts in Mississippi, and Jackson is a great purveyor of that. And so we're hosting the first of 3 of these folk festivals for the next 3 years in downtown. We were charged with raising $1.5 million. When I came into office, the city had raised about $300,000. So we've been able to raise right at $1.1 million on top of that. So we're just under the 1.5. We're 1.4 million right now. And we're looking for anybody who wants to will. You're
That's
still
right.
walking around money.
I cut the first check. You
100,000.
got,
That's fair. That's fair.
But we're very close on that, and we're seeking volunteers. We've got a need for about 800 volunteers over those 3 days. So if you'd like to volunteer, you can call City Hall, call the mayor's office at 960-1084, 601-960-1084, and you can volunteer or just come as a spectator. It's a free 3-day festival.
Oh, wow, I didn't know that.
Features blues, jazz, zydeco, country, bluegrass, Hispanic music, East Asian music, all kinds of music, all kinds of dance. There'll be craftsmen there, and like I say, some of the best food you'll find within the next 3 states, and party and events, opportunities for children. That's going to be held at Smith Park, and the main stage. We're going to have 5 or 6 different stages, but the main stage is going to be on State Street, right at Capitol Street, where the in front of the old Capitol Museum, and then we've got a number of stages around there. Ergon Alliant is our presenting sponsor this year. They really stepped up to the plate, and we want to give Robert Lampton and his family, his brother Bill, and I think John is the other brother, if I remember correctly. But want to give them a shout out for getting behind this festival and becoming our presenting sponsor. So generally, this thing's been going on since 1936.
Oh, wow.
1936, and somewhere around 80 some odd years, and what is normally wished for is that at the end of those 3 years where you're the host, you continue that festival under another name in your city going forward. You remember we had the old Jubilee Jam back years ago, and it was a great urban festival that we did in downtown every year for about 15 years, and it just fizzled out. Well, we're hoping that this will help revitalize something like a Jubilee Jam that we can hold annually in downtown Jackson.
That's the best news I've heard today. I remember going to Jubilee Jam as a kid, and that kind of fostered my love of music.
Yeah.
So please do that. That would be great.
Absolutely. No, and nothing further from me. I mean, again, Mayor, we're pulling for you here at the MDOT team, and Paul and Drew and myself personally. We're very much big fans and excited about the outlook of Jackson.
Yeah, well, in my campaign, our slogan was "Jackson is ready, the time is now." And now what we're saying as our slogan is "Jackson is rising, the time is now."
I love it.
Love it. Love a good shift there. Echo what Will said. Love what we're seeing, and ready to kind of continue to see it rise. Thank you, Mayor Horhn, for joining us.
Well, thanks for the invite.
Absolutely. We'll go ahead and wrap things there. Thanks to our listeners, our viewers, for tuning in to the Extra Mile podcast. You can watch and listen to episodes by visiting gomdot.com/the extra mile. Follow us on social media at Mississippi DOT is the handle. We want to thank our editor, producer, Drew Hall, for holding things down behind the scenes. And remember to drive smart out there on Mississippi highways.